Hey guys, how's it going? And thanks for coming. I'm Nick, and this is Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money, because you know schools aren't, so let's get started. So in this video, we're going over what is a credit score, kind of the basics of it, and the factors that actually make up a credit score. So credit cards are part of our lives, guys, whether we like it or not. Now, a lot of people have debt with credit cards, so there are pros and cons of that. Now, what credit is basically is kind of a score to show lenders if they could trust you or not. The lowest is like 350. I've never seen something that low. And the highest is 850. So obviously you would be, or would like to be, closer to the 850 point. Now, why should you care about your credit score? Where there are a couple of things that people use their money to borrow for big purchases. So obviously the biggest purchase that a lot of people make is on a house, like for a mortgage. Other ones could be for a car loan, maybe for student loans. So if you have a higher credit score, you will get a better rate, which means saving money for you. So that's basically the gist of credit. Now, there are multiple things that make up your credit score. You know, if you want to increase it, you have to do some of these things. So I got an email, I think it was yesterday, about my Discover card. Now, I like Discover just because it was my first card, and I'll show you guys just because it doesn't have any numbers on the front, so you can't take anything, hopefully. So with Discover, there are a bunch of other credit cards out there, but with your bill every single month, they also show you your credit score, at least some of them, like I just said. So I'm going to show you my information. Now, I'm not showing you my bank accounts or anything. I will never show anyone my bank accounts, but this is my credit information. I thought it might help you guys out to show you what's it about. So I went to email into Discover's website and everything, so you could see this is my information from Nicholas. No one calls me that, but whatever. And you could see the date, so this is very recent. And you could see all the information they have up top. Your FICO score, total accounts, length of credit, and revolving utilization. All of these are important factors that make up your credit score. Now, of course, not to brag or anything, but to show you guys that you can do these things to get the score that I have, which is over 800. Like I said before, the top is 850, so I'm very, very close to that. And these are ways to do it. It's not that difficult, so it's possible. So going over what we just saw, like we said, over 800, and I don't have many accounts at all. My few main credit cards, I basically have like maybe 2 to 3. Others I might have like department stores like Macy's, and that's kind of it. Now, the next funny part is the length of credit. You can see is 26 years, when in reality I'm 25 years old. So how did I do that? Partly, I'm not really sure, but I'm not sure if you could do this anymore, but I was able to be linked as an authorized user of one of my parents. So I was started gaining credit before I was born. Pretty neat trick. But you can see I had 26 years when I'm 25 years old. And the last thing that I want to look over, and the next picture I'm going to show you, each individual factor broken down into its percentages, how much it actually matters. But this one, like I have highlighted right now, is revolving utilization, and I'm going to be going into that in a minute. So these are the breakdowns, guys, and I'm going to go into each breakdown for you to give you an idea what's going down. So again, this is straight from Discover's website. You can see the actual breakdown, or at least the approximated breakdown of credit. So 35% of payment history, 30% of it is made up of amounts owed, or also known as utilization. 15% is length of credit, 10% is new credit, and 10% is a credit mix. So it might seem complicated, don't worry, we'll break it down. So starting off with the 35, whichever way it is, 35% is payment history. So basically, if you have a balance, do you pay it back? That's the largest percentage of what makes up your credit. So if you have a balance, or if you have anything, you have to pay it back. So if you have any late fees or anything, that's hurting your credit a lot. So next would be amounts owed or utilization. This accounts for 30% of your credit. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, we have to keep this low. So what it means is, let's say your credit or your total credit that you could use is $1,000, right? So you have a limit on your credit card for $1,000. And let's say you have a balance, let's say you bought shoes for $100. Well, you have $100 of that $1,000, which is equal to 10%, which is actually the max of what you should keep it at. You should keep it as low as possible. You saw before, I have a utilization of 2%. So I actually only found this out very recently. So how to improve your credit even faster is to not have a huge balance on that. So if you already have a huge balance, I would suggest stop using it and start using cash and bring that balance down. If you could only have maybe like a gas payment or some small payment, but people say to have it below 10% in the single digits if you can. So just those two things make up 65% of what makes up your credit score. So if you just focus on those two, you'll probably shoot it up very quickly. But let's go into the other ones as well. The next one is 15% length of credit. So obviously, if you're newer, if you're younger, it's difficult to get your credit started. There are ways to do that. You could get secured credit cards, but the longer that you have it, the more score that you'll have. 10% is new credit. Now, this doesn't mean open up dozens of credit cards. I would also assume that it's kind of just keeping things current. So not having like balances from years ago. Keeping it up to date, using every card that you have kind of frequently, but not too much. Again, remember the utilization. But to help with your balances or your credit limit, you could always open up a new one that gives you more of a limit, which decreases your utilization. Now that's kind of how it gets confusing, because you kind of need some credit or some credit cards, but not too many credit cards, so you need that good balance. I would just say less is better than more overall. So moving into the last factor is the 10% of a credit mix. So what does that mean? You could have credit cards, you could have loans like a car loan, you could have student loans and stuff like that. So I mean, it's very low percentage, just 10%. I personally wouldn't worry about it. So those are the factors that make up your credit score, guys. I thought it was pretty interesting because I always thought this was like some super secret information that no one really knew. And I found this out, thought it could help you out. So definitely watch out for the payment history and utilization. My suggestion, start using a little bit more cash so you're not dependent on your credit card. Not only to protect you from fraud, but I would suggest looking at your credit card statements every single month to not only check your balance to make sure it's correct, but to actually see what you're paying, what you're actually using it for. It might open your mind a bit. I'm saying this because I got hit with fraud last month, actually. I got hit with a charge from Arizona for like 2 transactions for $150. So it does happen. Good thing I caught it before anything could happen. So just keep an eye out. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I do have another video going over, I think it was the top 5 credit cards in 2017 They're all basically similar for 2018, so I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to check out. All those cards are definitely great ones. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money. I just started an Instagram account if you guys want to follow, link below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.